Oi. People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Good afternoon to my people, them over here in the UK. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on wherever you are in this earth. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Please make sure you're hitting the like button and also checking out the pinned message because it's Chelsea versus Arsenal for better or worse tomorrow. And I'll be doing a watch along an hour before. So I'd appreciate if you're there. If you're not going to be there, same way, hit the like button, drive the engagements. We're growing, people. We've hit 35. We're on the road to 50K. Can we do that before the end of 2021? Who knows, people? Who knows? On that note, before I carry on, I hope you're all well and safe, but we might as well get this one out the way early doors. A quick message from my sponsor. So yeah, people, like I said, big up yourselves for tuning in. If you want a poster, you know what to do. Links in the live chat. Link is also in the description. So hit that up, people. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Let me get my notes for what we're actually here to speak about up for display, people. It's transfer season in relation to Arsenal, or at least propaganda season. We're buying every player on the flipping planet, people. I can't lie. If we sign the man behind us, Camavinga, I'll be over the moon. And we're going to get onto him and a couple of others. You know, we've been linked with him, Zakaria, Bissouma, Yochin Anderson, you know, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other names I'm missing out. And again, whether we're actually involved, because I think the one theme you could see with some of the midfielders we've been linked with is we're looking for that sixth position. Whether we grab these players or not, who knows? We evidently know we need that area. Once again, you know, we've been previously linked with Buendia and all of these guys, and tomorrow or during the moments while I'm talking, I'm sure we're being linked with another name. Whether there's legs to these rumors, whether it's propaganda because of scrutiny on owners and things like that, we'll have to see in it. I don't really care for the links, just as long as when the window closes, it happens. I don't think, for the record, we're going to sign Camavinga. I think us and there's not too many teams failing like us, like how we are. Let's be real, people. But I do think teams of our sort of stature, I think we have more of a chance than fans are giving credit for. But I think Camavinga's gone in it. I think he's going to the Madrids and all of them sort of clubs there, rightly or wrongly. It might be sensible to take an intermediate step. Who knows? I would love him. We know Arsenal are relying on our previous clout. You've all seen the social media clips resurfacing, you know, like many French players. He was an Arsenal fan as a kid. So hopefully that lure is still there. But who knows, people? We're going to get into it. But as you lot know, I'm very appreciative of you guys. What are you lot saying in the comments? Like I said, whether Arsenal win, lose or draw, I hope you're well and safe. Omar, big up yourself. Live from Planet X. I know it's stupid o'clock in Australia. Big up all my Australian viewers and also all the New Zealand ones in similar mad time zones all over the continent of Asia. I hope you're all doing well and safe. You know, a lot of my Dubai fans say I never shout out Dubai. So shout out to Dubai, QA, all surrounding regions, man. I apologize, man. You know, the world's a big place. I've barely seen outside of London, outside of North London. But I appreciate you lot, man. I really do. I see you lot are getting your opinions in early. Francis is saying Eduardo Camavinga. To be fair, you know, when your mum calls you Eduardo, you know you're destined to be a serious baller. But Eduardo Camavinga is a good player, but makes no sense to me. We need to back up left back and right back. He scored 1 goal in 33 appearances. All right, you're allowed your opinion. Random guy said, I would take Bissouma, but yeah, Camavinga isn't a bad option. Has a better ceiling than Bissouma, but Camavinga will eventually leave us for Real Madrid or Barca. The same could be said probably for Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Tierney, Gabriel. My point being, you know, if Arsenal, you know, we can't not sign players with a future because they're going to leave. We want that problem, you know. Even when Arsenal were crap, even more crap, well, not as crap as we are now, we had players that were always going to Barcelona and things. So I want players sought after by everyone. We can't not sign a man because of that, even though I hear you. My point being, with some of those names I said, you know, these players that I've said, whether it's Barca, Madrid or not, bigger teams or teams with a better project will swoop in, and granted, there'll come a time in all of these players' Arsenal careers, well, they'll stop and think, yo, it might be time to cat out, innit? But who knows, people? 72 of you locked in. Please make sure you're hitting the like button. Let me set up my timestamp before we get into it. Now, again, I'm not going to go over the same rumors and things. Yesterday, we looked at all the paper talk and all of those things in relation to Camavinga and a couple others. I mean, I'm lying. We're going to slightly circle back over them. Yeah, man. Why not? I might as well just share my screen with you guys. 1 second, folks. First thing I want to actually show you lot again, you know, Mr. Arsenic again. Everyone and their nan has bits and pieces and some information in relation to Camavinga. But like I said before, I don't think Arsenal have a chance of getting him. I don't think we're getting him. I do think Arsenal and teams that are not PSG, Barcelona, and all these teams have more of a chance of getting him. I don't like to say we're a stepping stone, but let's be real. We all know, even when some players have had an established career, had a distinguished career, are kind of in their prime, they struggle at these big clubs, you know, for whatever reason, mentally, on the field, off the field. We all know it's not just about being a big footballer to go to these clubs, and he's 18 years of age. If he's ready, why not? And Real Madrid sign a bunch of kids all the time. And he is someone that his owner said, I mean, his agent said he's leaving, but it's all about football. Now, I know it's about football, but real football fans that are listening, you understand what I mean, especially when you play for Real Madrid and these sort of teams. And again, he's 18. You know, is he in the finished article? Forget tactically, mentally, only he can answer that, in which Arsenal can provide that. Yes, we're a London club. We've got the French ties. We're trying to be a project. You know, he knows the move will come. For Arsenal, it will help because he's going to cost 50 odd million, which probably means we're not going to do it, because as much as I love him, he's a champagne footballer right now. He's one of the best young players in the world. He's a champagne sort of footballer. Do we have time for champagne at Arsenal? If you ain't got bottled water or proper running water, you can't afford champagne, or champagne shouldn't be your priority. I love this guy. I've been vocal on how much I want Camavinga. It's a fallacy. You know, he's destined to be one of the best midfielders / players in the world. Got a lovely left foot, very cultured with his left foot. You know, I'm going to expand on it a bit more. But Mr. Arsenic, who was the man that I saw even when every other quote unquote more creditable, or, you know, if not more creditable, people working for major news outlets, when they were saying Partey's a myth, this man was still, or man or team or whatever, because they come like the person who made Bitcoin. I don't know if these people exist, but shout out to them. They've said Camavinga is open to the idea of playing in the Premier League with a club that matches his style and guarantees him regular minutes. I mean, that could be, you know, to be fair with you, I wouldn't say Arsenal match your style, but we could guarantee you regular minutes. You'll be part of an F3, but it is where it is. Apparently, European participation is an element of decision making and the differentiation, but it is not necessarily or detailed. And I think Google Translate's done it dirty. What I think by that is, of course, the prospect of playing in Europe. This is a man that's played in the Champions League for Rennes. You know, Arsenal aren't going to be in Europe. That's going to be an icing on top of the cake. But it seems like that's a creme de la creme. And many players, I just think, away from young players, not just Arsenal, I think obviously Europe is what needs to be done, but I think when you look at the Premier League and every year there's a different top four, I think players understand that it's not a guarantee. It's all about projects these days, in which I don't know the project Arsenal could sell you. They sold Partey something, they sold Aubameyang and Saka something to commit them to new deals. Balogun the same. You know, I'm sure there's going to be players, or I hope better yet, there's going to be players that arrive in the summer. They're going to be sold something. So there must be some sort of dream seller here, people. And I think I think he would listen to us, but I don't think we're getting it, because the only thing we can give him is the element of a stepping stone, the element of probably developing without pressure, the historical French ties. He's an 18-year-old, and, you know, he's done what he's needed to do at Rennes and things like that. The next move is going to be significant, where he's going to play a good amount of football. If that's Madrid, that's Madrid. If Barca, whatever. His agent has said the man's leaving. His agent's the same one with Bell. So again, you know, I've said, you know, you look at Camavinga, Pogba, you know, Camavinga, Pogba, Haaland, Mbappe, potentially Jadon Sancho. Again, I don't know this, and I don't, you know, COVID plays a part, but these are the names you would think would be on a move. Maybe something that could help Arsenal is that, you know, maybe Real Madrid, they're trying to just focus on Haaland and Mbappe. Maybe he could do this. And I keep saying Real Madrid because they're the name I see frequently linked. But this man can play everywhere. You know, one thing he doesn't get appreciation for is he's got wonderful technical ability. He can skip past a man. He's got good trickery. He wants the ball. Obviously, if you've been watching him this year, it's been a flat season from him. Let's be real. He's been hot and cold. It's not really been an amazing season. I don't know, with having a year or so to run on his deal, I don't know if that's played a part, similar to Hosam Aouar at Lyon, but it hasn't been really a great season. Now, admittedly, so much football is being watched by me and being played. Rennes were in the Champions League this year, right? For whether I'm right or wrong, he played against Chelsea in the group stages and it was quite poor. I'm sure it was this year. I'm sure it was this year, but I could be wrong. But skipping back quickly to my notes, people, you know me, I love a good Google sheet. I thought, let me add some pictures because it might, you know, a lot of you love the Google sheets. A lot of you think it's boring. So let me add some spice. I might have done Camavinga a bit dirty, but that's the only picture I found that was looking like it could fit in. So like I said, people, he's going to cost a pretty penny. You're seeing 50 to 60 million euros. Now, again, Arsenal, no Europe. And like I said, he's a champagne player. I do think he has he's left-footed. He will slot in lovely with Partey. But many people say when you look beyond the fact that he's a French international, that he's, like I said, going to go off and be one of the best footballers, he's a young man. Do we need to get in and experience someone where we can also try and get in Camavinga? But like I said, we need to get the basics right. We can't really afford champagne. And when I look at it, 50, 60 million with no Europe, without knowing in terms of outgoings, can I see the club doing it? The man's going to be a part of a bidding war. Like I said at the end here, people, he's contracted for a year or so. His agent has said he's going. There's a bidding war. His agent has said from day, my man is going. Even when the COVID market was looking a bit gazier. Rennes, it is what it is. They want 50 odd million. Will they risk letting him go for free? Probably not, or they'd be stupid. As I said, for Rennes and him, it's been a flat season. He's not really been shelling it down, but like I said, form is temporary, class is permanent. He's 18. He's had a whirlwind of a couple of being introduced into football. It's all been a straight trajectory. Sometimes you're hit with roadblocks. Saka and Mason Greenwood indirectly have gone through that. It's been a great season for Saka and whatnot. But if you look at the games prior to the last game we just played against West Brom, he's been a bit flat or not been his best. That's because he's been overworked in the scrutiny. Mason Greenwood is back in form, but there was a point in the season, and that's one thing I think Ollie does well. He pulled him out. Again, people, it's all about developing on the field, but people forget mentally what this thing is about. And that's probably the only reason I could say he might not go to a Barca and all of these things, because again, it's very tough. But saying that, there's young G's all around that. There's a couple exceptions to the cases, of course, people. And he is very much an exception. Like I said, a champagne footballer. I'm keen to see his development. I think he would slot in perfectly at Arsenal. He's a young man with potential. Again, when I look at Saliba, maybe Kuendozi, Martinelli, whether he's going to be a striker on the left, potentially one day with Saka, and the initial reluctance to use Smith Rowe. We've got a Gabriel as well as a bit raw. We've got young players at this team of various abilities and things. And I don't really see what Arteta is doing in the short, medium term to get them into these players we think they can be tomorrow. So with Camavinga, I don't know. I mean, you could sell the carrot of I'm a young manager. I've worked with Sarr and then, man, I can do this for you. I can do that. I think he would slot in great at Arsenal. We're not in Europe, so it is what it is. He'd have the perfect adaptation stage playing once a week. He's 18. He's got a lovely passing range, lovely left foot. I call for consistency with an 18-year-old. Joy is going to struggle to find that, but he's got confidence and he's got competency. He wants the ball. He's got great character, in my opinion. He has scope to grow at Arsenal and a couple of other clubs that he won't necessarily get at the creme de la creme of clubs. And also, these creme de la creme clubs, when you see some of the players they're linked with or areas they need to address, is Camavinga going to be a priority? I don't know. But if we was allowed in, people, brave on the ball, very good passing range, actually more trickery than people give him credit for. He can beat a man. He is good, lovely left foot. We have to remember he's only 18. Beyond this live stream, that's probably where it's going to start and end, people. I hope we get Camavinga. It's probably dream chasing in that regards, people. It firmly is. Should we check this article and see what it said here? Google Translate going to help me? No? Cool. We have to find our own Google Translate. Apologies, people. I can't see. Google Translate. Because some people say we've never been in for him. It's just paper talk. Some people say Arsenal are doing everything they can. I remember when this club convinced people was going in for Kylian Mbappe. So I don't know whether to believe it and all of those sort of things, people. But let me just see what this is going to throw up with a good old Google Translate. And all my French speakers, apologies. Driven out by PSG, Eduardo Camavinga is above all the target of Arsenal, who are doing everything behind the scenes to try and get him. After a mixed season, Camavinga remains a highly courted player. The Rennes midfielder will be one of the big players in the coming transfer window, and clubs already more or less clearly positioned on the front line. We actually find PSG Camavinga appeals to, I don't know what it says, it's clearly not making sense, but apparently, we could say PSG are in for him, and that would be a great move, like Mbappe. You stay in your homeland, you develop, I know people can say what they want about PSG and Kylian Mbappe, and I would have, if I was him, probably have moved to elsewhere in Europe, but there's something to be said in staying in your homeland and growing, because you look at a lot of these young players, they all find their way back to France, or they're all indirectly finding their way back to France before they go off, Yachin Adli, not the Yachin Adli, sorry, Jeffrey Adelaide, Panacea, temporarily Saliba, what's the youth that's on loan from Barcelona at Nice as well? Todibo, Lafont went to Italy and came back. You in a couple of players indirectly find their way back to France. So maybe it's best him being 18, growing, feeling more important in his homeland. Then maybe by 20 or so, looking at it, people. You know, I would have loved Camavinga a couple of years ago. Same way with Jude Bellingham. It's like these are guys that are elite and stuff. So again, if you hear PSG, Real Madrid, and these teams, Arsenal don't have a chance. You know, all I hope is that he's a naive 18-year-old to a degree, and he's clearly got the right people around him and a good agent. He shares the same agent as Bale. So, you know, not only are you going to have to pay whatever club wants, but you're going to have to sell a proper project to Camavinga and his family and a trajectory. You're also going to have to make sure he's handsomely compensated, and his agent the same. So PSG can do all of that. So I don't think we have a chance, people, really and truly, because, again, he'll be great at PSG. But apparently, according to this article's information, Arsenal is doing everything to be perfectly positioned in the Camavinga file. The Gunners are up to speed and appear to have made the 18-year-old their priority target for the summer. He's contracted until 2022. So we'll have to see, people, you know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. And like I said, his agent is Jonathan Bennett, who has Mount on his books, Grealish on his books, Chilwell on his books, Bale on his books. You know, must be nice being an agent of these household names. You're chopping bands. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. So, yeah, man, that's it in relation to Camavinga. Clearly, I'm a big fan of his. Now, the next one is Zakaria, a player that we've been speaking about. I've been speaking about. There's even been rumors of sending Xhaka back and grabbing him. Now, for me, he appeals to me because I like the look of him. You know, he's still a bit raw. Still concentration can be an issue. I feel in the last 18 months, his passing has really improved. And he's even got a couple of goals. Now, I don't want him in the team for that, and that's not him. For me, he's more of a box-to-box midfielder. With he can play as more of a 6, but I just feel, and he has obviously for club and country, but I just feel he's a bit immature at times in that role. In fact, that's not the right word. I just feel he doesn't offer enough on the ball in terms of building from there. But I wouldn't mind him. I think he's a good player. I think he'll adapt well. He's cut price. You know, they've apparently 20 million euros. Again, that's right up Arsenal street. That can give us more maneuver room elsewhere. They like Camavinga, there is scope to grow. Many people will say the last Swiss midfielder we signed from Gladbach, we don't know what happened with that one. So I don't know, but he's someone I would look at as well. The main plus point, obviously, if we could get Camavinga, that's the first choice. You can hear by my language, people. But I think Zakaria could be a good option, but again, there's multiple clubs being linked with him. You know, Bissouma is the safe option, I would say. And when I say safe, that doesn't mean he's a bad player. What I mean by that is he seems to be the most attainable, with exception to Zakaria. Is Zakaria's cut price, you know, Bissouma. But like everyone, you know, Bissouma's linked with City and Liverpool. If Pep Guardiola gets you in the room and chats to you about football, and not only how you can win trophies, but how he can improve you, and you know, Pep and his advisors probably could tell more about Bissouma, more about his football than him. You know, they could probably say when you were 13 years of age, you used to lean on your left hand side more. Now you need to lean on your right. That sort of stuff wows players. And Bissouma, you know, that's a come up there, really and truly. So if there's Liverpool or City, then I wouldn't pick either one. But like Camavinga, you know, him, you know, being in France before in Bissouma's case, he's obviously allegedly been an Arsenal fan. Not that that should weigh in his decision, but he remembers what Arsenal can be. And so maybe he's a bit romantic in that regards. You know, he's still cool with Pepe and Gabriel, who are the Leo boys. He shares the same agent as Pepe. You know, he's already said he wants to leave Brighton. You know, he knows the league and he's adaptable. And, you know, it would mean we have the last laugh, because I remember a couple of years ago, Bissouma laughing at us when we lost. So, you know, you're going to be part of this as well. But I would love Bissouma, you know. He's like Partey. I think people need to be careful of what they or understand what they're getting. He's not going to be in that team to pass the ball forward. If you have a midfield of Partey and Bissouma as your 38-game period, like that's the only pivot, you're going to struggle to create, because Partey can pass the ball, Bissouma can pass the ball, but that's not their primary jobs. You're going to be relying on a 6. I mean, on a 10, because they're 2 6s. And that's not my problem, because I said we need that. You know, if Partey gets injured, like I said when we signed him, we're back to square one. Bissouma can fill in so they can be competing with each other. Games, they can be used with each other. Games, one can start and one can come on. You know, there's games where I've said we might need 2 6s. You might need an 8, a 6 and a 10, 2 8s and a 10. You know, there's many different things. We don't have many different mixes and blends of over a 38-game calendar, and Bissouma would provide that. I'll be all up for it, especially at 30 million euros. Admittedly, if Zakaria is 20 million pounds, and you know, this guy's either 30 million euros or 30 million pounds, you know, I'd rather spend the extra tenner and go and grab Bissouma. If it was up to me, you know, Bissouma's, IQ and all that is ahead of Camavinga, in my opinion, because of his age. But clearly, Camavinga's got the biggest ceiling. In terms of an immediate impact, I think it would probably be Bissouma. But, you know, again, a bit biased towards young players and all those sort of things. First choice would be Camavinga. First choice 1.0 would be Bissouma. And then, you know, Zakaria will take it, people. Obviously, was not relevant, but you know, he could be a 6, he could be an 8. You know, there's a lot of development to be done in Camavinga's mind. He could be a deep line playmaker, he could be at all, you know, box to box / you know, more of a composing figure in the game. Bissouma the same. So I think the one thing you can see is that we're looking for a 6 now. Being linked with the Buendias, the Aouas, these guys is kind of gone a bit quiet, in my opinion. Again, no European football probably means no Aouar. For me, I don't know if City are linked with him. It looks like they're looking for a Fernandinho replacement. But, you know, Pep allegedly likes him. Pep wanted him. Surely if Leon want to let him go for 25 million euros, that's light work for Man City. He's been linked with Liverpool. And again, Liverpool need a couple more technical midfielders to go with Thiago. He could be that. No, Europe might play a part. But again, we did show great desire to get him last year. Maybe he doesn't forget that. There's a whole bunch of rumors as to why that move didn't happen. Allegedly, he wanted it too. Leon played hardball. He had cold feet. Advisor agents will never know until him or either party. There's 3 sides to a story and there's 3 parties. Until Hossam Aouar, Arsenal or Leon tell us exactly what happened, then it's a myth. But I do think we need to be looking at 8 or you know, the modern day 10, which is an 8, or if you can find a traditional 10 of the ilk of kind of more like Odegaard and Smith Rowe, why not? That's that, people. But that's away from that, though. I'd love us to get Sarr, man. You know, again, another young player, very raw. Again, in terms of an immediate impact, I'm not sure. But if you're watching La Liga, man said La Liga. If you're watching Liga, you know this young guy's been doing a madness. The young Senegalese player, you know, he's from Generation Foot. You know what they're doing in Senegal in terms of developing players. He's an Arsenal player. He's cultured. He can carry a ball. He can pass. He plays with his head up. You know, he's confident. He's been consistent. He's still raw in many elements. He can switch off like any 18-year-old. But I think he's someone to look at. He's someone that I've had my eye on all season, and he's someone that I want at the club. He's 18 years of age, and he's literally just joined Mets. Good temperament, as I said, confident on the ball, good passing range, good balance. Long term, I think he could be a very good number 6, even a DM. Even, you know, I think he's got a lot to him. Right now, I'd use him in the box-to-box role, me personally. You know, he can get caught in possession and caught out. He's still very raw. He needs a lot of work, but the ability is there, people. And I do think he could do a lot work. You know, we could do a lot worse with the current edition. And again, you know, he's probably away from Camavinga, my top sort of choice, really, away from what we need immediately. Admittedly, there's a lot of romance in me with this player. I like him a lot. Like, I really, really like the look of him, people. Like I said, you know how good this academy is in Senegal in Generation Foot. You're not getting out of there for no reason. So that's what I would like to see. You know, I think we need 2. You know, if you could bring me a Sarr, you know, Mets, come on, man. We'll give you a player on loan or we'll do something for you. But if you could bring me Sarr, you know, and 2 of these names up here, whether that's, I'm being greedy, 1 of these names up here, which is a Camavinga, Zakaria, Bissouma. Aouar was a different player, of course, but Aouar, I'd be happy days. But as an Arsenal fan, you're just happy to get 1 of those, if any. Again, it probably would be a player that none of these names we've been linked with arrives, but who knows, people? Who knows? But that's that in that half. What are you guys saying in the comments, people? I hope you're blessed. Big up yourself, Nathan. I appreciate you for locking in. Let me drink some of my coffee. What else are you guys saying, man? Come on, man. Daily grind business, man. You've got to grind, man. You got to grind. You got to be consistent. I hope you're well and safe. Luke, Colin, I see you, man. I appreciate you lot. Owners mugging us off. Facts. You know, facts. Bellerin leaving. We'll get on that. Forget them, DG. We need Duncan Zaha proven in the Prem. You know they know the Prem. I mean, that Prem in business is a bit, you know, we signed a certain winger that's been very, very much at Chelsea for a long period of time. We signed a centre-half. We've signed a goalie, you know. We signed a bunch of, we signed a backup right back. We have signed players from the Prem. Now, I know these players are not levels, but it is what it is in that regards, man. You know, apparently Fernandinho is signing an extension, but they're looking for a long-term replacement. You know, they've got to. The man's probably, he could probably play into his 40s. You know, who understands playing multiple squads more than City? So it is what it is in that regards, man. What are you lot saying, man? You see Grealish agents speak about his future yesterday or today? Nope. So unless someone could rise up something, nope. I would love him, of course, but can't sign him. It's a myth. And the Jim Gooner TV's come with another good comment. Big up DG. For me, Camavinga could become elite, but Bissouma is proven in the Premier League. But we need midfielders who can score goals. And this is what my point is about. We need to get another 6, but we need the goal scorers. Personally, I'm picking Camavinga first because I think he can become a serious player. Gene Gar said, Ginger, apologies, man. Big up the members. Say afternoon, DG. It's a shame Leicester snapped up some more. Guys like Bissouma and Tuchemani, are far more realistic for us. Bro. When my man was at Bordeaux, the second name you said, everybody said I'm capping. Now he's at Monaco, man. Man are saying sign him. It is what it is, man. It really is what it is. I hope you're well, Mr. Adlib K. I love to see the members, them. I appreciate that, man. To be fair, you can say Camavinga is in a risk, but since when did football have an age? Since when? And a couple players are exception to the rule. I've said, I think he's of that, Mbappe at that time, Saka to a degree, Greenwood to a degree, Foden, Bellingham, where their age, it will show it's not really relevant. We've had a teenage Cesc Fabregas. Of course, you need scope to grow. But nowadays, you look at our team, it's the experienced players making the mistakes, really, So I hear you, but every player is going to need time to adapt, whether they're 25 or not. I do hear you, and I've said it a lot about the age, but I think people overplay it a lot. I don't really think his age is as relevant as maybe I've really made out. But again, it is what it is. I think Bissouma is more, when we remove the romance, more what we immediately need. But what I don't like about Bissouma is the same thing I didn't like about when we was linked with Aouar, when we're linked with Bendia. Fans and the club, it's like that becomes the only option. Which, again, we're not Real Madrid, we're not PSG, we're not Barcelona, we're not these clubs that can only afford to have one option, man. Wish we had the money for both, man. Did he really shag himself? Because he's getting paid peas, and you could say that really, but did he really? It's a bit like what people say about Zaha. What will you say is a successful transfer window? I don't know about listing the players, man. I don't know about listing the players. You don't know, that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like to sit here and talk about I want this guy, I want this guy. I can tell you players I like. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can tell you players I like. All I will say is, for me, if I don't see a number 6, an 8 or a 10 in terms of a more creative or like more of a fancy sort of midfielder where his strengths are more in the final third together with a 6, if I don't see a centre half, if I don't see a first choice right back and a backup left back, then it's not successful. It's not successful unless you get all of them roles, not 2, and then we're still talking about the others. That's just me personally, man. Please stop spamming. Comments will get read. You don't need to spam. People don't need to spam. Arteta's going to have to put these men in a 5. Whoa, Peter, shout out the members. But boy, I had to take that comment off real quick when I clocked what you said. Whoa. Can't be reading out them things here. There's some kids watching, man. No, there's some kids watching because their baby mom, their mothers are there and they want me to be the next baby daddy and they want to be DG's baby mom. But it's a tough life, man. You can't have what you want. Like the stream, like Jay Walker said, where are we at in terms of likes, people? Where are we at in terms of likes? 139 and there's 300 people watching. It's not great, but it could be worse. It could be better though, people. It doesn't cost a thing. Hit the like button. Make sure you're checking out the pin message. As usual, quick word from the sponsors. Yeah, so you lot know what to do. But getting back into business, check out the pinned message or the description for more information about the poster. But getting back into business, what you lot are saying. Emma said, thoughts on Locatelli. I've spoke about him before. I think he's really, really developed. I wasn't rating him at first, but since he's been at Sassuolo, can't deny it. He's been linked with a move to Juventus, linked with City, linked with these sort of clubs. So them sort of ones there is a bit of a myth, man, in my humble opinion. Would love to keep Guendouzi, but if selling him means we can put peas towards someone, why not? Why not? What else are you guys saying? I appreciate everybody locked in, especially because, you know, I'm sure not a lot of you want to speak about Arsenal. You see the passion we got for the club? This is how they snake it. Because I know a lot of you like me were saying we're done, we're finished, we're this, we're that. We're still here speaking about Arsenal at some stage. It is what it is. Emmy email. I don't know about email Buendia, but Emmy Buendia must have. You know, I think he's a baller, but again, you know, unless you put the money down even more now, if Norwich didn't get promoted, then we'd have some legs to it. If you really want their player, you have to put the money down. And now, assuming he doesn't leave, now I'm gonna really see, because you've got another season in the Prem. We're gonna see what you're really on, man. I would love him, of course. You know, who wouldn't want Buendia? People could say it's championship, but you saw how he's played a major part in getting Norwich promoted, and he's a very good tactical footballer, technical footballer. Tactically, you know, he can play. I think long term he could play not quite the Santi role, but you see that Santi role Santi played in the latter stages. I don't see no reason why he can't do that. He can obviously play in a traditional 10 role. He can obviously do a thing from out wide. These are different things that can help us. You know, I think many fans in the club, we get situated on one way of playing. Like for me, I'm a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 man every day of the week. That's what I want to see 9 times out of 10. But I want Arsenal to be able to play free at the back. You know, I'm more of a 3-5-2 than 3-4-3. But I want us to have that in our ability, you know. But at the same time, right now, we just need to be able to play one formation consistently, have a decent 11, and then depth and adaptability can be a thing, man. Is where it is. So I see somebody's dream chasing. Man said 60 million for Dunk, Bissouma, and Lamptey. Dream chasing. Dream chasing. If only football was that simple, man. That one there is dream chasing. Herrera does want to leave. He's been linked with Sevilla. You know, the latest club. Apparently, Arsenal rate him at £13 million. So make of that what you will. Well, Sandro's best position, if you ask him, is probably left wing. And if you're talking about a 10, probably Grealish. Bro, the Dortmund model is something we need to do, but Dortmund have clear people in roles, whether it's to find the best players in America. You see a couple American youths there, get the best English players, but, you know, sign the lad from Birmingham. He's playing in Champions League. Jadon Sancho, a kid from Kennington's found his way there, you know, all over the, you know, my man from Norway, you know, what that striker's on in Haaland. You know, them sort of things there, they've got a clear thing. We don't have a clear thing, you know, so we can't, how can we sit here and say any of these things, really? And it's a bit ironic, not you, but man are saying do the Dortmund thing. You've got a man behind you in Camavinga, and man are saying not to go for him. You know, we need experienced players, we need competent players. But you know, if we could grab Camavinga to go there with Saka and Tini and Saliba and, you know, all these guys for the futures, why not, man? Why not? But I would like us. We should be doing the Dortmund model. We can't sign established players consistently like that. So it is what it is. But you know, beyond just paper talk, that one there is a myth, man. I like Soler, very much a player. I like Nathan, but again, you know, I ain't really seen his name ringing bells and things like that. Camavinga said no to me in Football Manager and went to her for Berlin, and now he's begging to join, man. So is what it is. To be fair, I didn't just get rejected by her for Berlin. They're doing serious things in my Football Manager. Like they got hell of them young players. They got a serious squad. To be fair with you, they keep trying to buy my young players out my academy. You know, I should really start my Football Manager series. You know, I'm going off topic, but I've got this young regen called Williams. You know, like he's like a Mason Greenwood. He's come through my academy. He's playing. You know, I finally got him to sign a new deal. His agent weren't trying to get him. Let's just say, people, I've probably overpaid him. I've made sure I've got that 5-year contract plus an extra year, but I've overpaid him. It was getting down to the wire. I thought I was going to lose done. You know, even we went down to the last 6 months. He's allowed to talk to clubs in January. So maybe the man there pulled the wool over my eyes, but I got scared, man. So I understand how these things happen, man. But I've been saying for time, man. Bro, have you seen the fixture schedule list? Like every time I want to sit down and do it, bro, there's this and that and that and this. Like, have you seen it? Obviously, we're winding down in the season now, so we're gonna see our will, people. I look at Peter; he's ready to start pressuring, man. Let's get this to 200 likes, man. You know, it is what it is. I think. Well, I can't speak for many fans, but I think we can all agree: centre mid, 2 centre mids like last year. I think a centre half, a centre half. Right back, as I said, back up, left back, centre half, say it for 50-50 times. That's what we need, man. Forget the Dortmund model, should be the Wenger model pre-2016 before he was wrongly hounded out. Okay, you could say that. I just think the Dortmund model is quite good. You're seeing what it's doing for them. You're seeing how much money they're making for Jadon Sancho and things like that. It's just and them players there. It's just a shame that they're in the German league where Borussia Dortmund, not Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich are the bullies. But in relation to Wenger, that one's gone. And what people mean by the Dortmund thing is just looking for players of tomorrow. I'm not too sure about pre-2016 because what was we doing? We bought Ozil, we bought Alexis, we bought Santi, still screaming about a centre half, still screaming about a centre defensive mid, still screaming about a striker. Not sure, man. Man said DG Cronk. Hey, to be fair, I'm always here, man. Allow it, bro. Allow it. Man said, allow it, fam. Allow it, man. Allow it, broski. I'm here for you guys, man. I'm always here, man. I can't be everything. Exactly. Euros as well, man. Euros as well. You have to allow me. There's bare pressure on me. You know, I can't clone myself. The work rate's crazy. When it's here, you lot will see why it's delayed, people. And when it's there, you lot will show man love. Make sure you're subscribed on Twitch so you make sure you get that Deluded Gooner 187. Could we do a DG community FM league? That would be great, bro. We need to let me walk on the game first and then we'll start running, my guy, man. We'll see where it takes us, man. I don't know who's still crying over Wenger and that, but man, I have to let it go, man. You mean DG can't hack pressure. Allow it, bro. You lot are stupid, man. You lot are absolutely stupid. I don't rate Kofal, so no. Dead. Nonetheless, man, you know, that's that for the thingy. That's that in relation to, well, it's not that in relation to transfers, people. Let me share my screen. And what else have we got to speak about? What else is there to speak about? Let me scroll all the way up. So we spoke about that. We've been, I don't really want to waste time on Bellerin. It's not worth it, people. But as you lot can see here, Arsenal plan max exodus with Bert Leno joining Bellerin on MIKEL Arteta's 6-man axe this summer. Now, I will say this. We don't know when these footballers decided to leave. I'm saying this before I say what I truly believe. You know, man, you know, we've all been in jobs. You know, it doesn't matter when he's decided to leave. He could have decided to leave last week. He could have decided to leave whenever. We don't know. Now, me personally, I keep seeing these rumors, less so about Leno, more so about Bellerin. Every year he's considering going. So he's had this in the back of his mind. He's wanted another challenge. Now, I do believe, or I just think fans are stupid when just because someone wants to leave or whatever, it doesn't mean they're down. There is possibilities of it happening and it has happened, but it doesn't mean footballers are down in tools and they don't care and all of these sort of things. For me, I find it a bit odd because I think Bellerin's wanted to leave from day. I personally feel this isn't me having speculation, but I personally feel he's convinced to stay by Arteta, same way Xhaka was, you know. Maybe even Leno wanted to bust out and the club said, we're doubling down on you, you're important. When he is your vice captain and things like that, when your vice captain speaks about leaving, David Luiz's mentality is spot on, but he's not played down leaving. Leno's not played down leaving. Xhaka's actually not played down leaving, you know. It doesn't look good. It's like, you know, because a lot of these players, Arsenal is not where we needed to be, but it's you lot are punching to be at the club, let alone be in positions where you can make demands or you control your destiny. It's a bit of a madness. You know, this tells you everything because, again, I think you've convinced them to stay. You've betted on these players and each and every one of these experienced players, to be fair, with the exception of Xhaka by his occasional mistakes, they've let you down, you know. And for me, when I look at Bellerin and Leno, just based on their age, they might not be the youngest, but what Bellerin is 26, Leno is 29. These are players, away from their ability or whatever you think, these are players, if you're looking at, you know, definitely Mr. Hector Bellerin, who's as North London as they come, basically a Highland boy via Barcelona, more or less. You know, I used to go watch you at Barnet at the Underhill. You know, these men are meant to be, for me anyways, they're meant to be a key part of your squad, you know. Leno's 29, Bellerin's 20-odd, 25, 26. He should be, for the next 2, 3, 4 years, that should be your part of your back five or couple key players. So if their mentality is like this, what's everyone thinking? And for me, when you know, I think Bellerin gets a hard rep at times, but I just think when he's the vice captain or what people look at as the sort of beacon of what this club's about, you're always going to be in problems. Why is this taking forever to scroll down? I don't know, but Leno has reportedly, apologies, people. Leno has reportedly joined Bellerin on the Arsenal transfer list following a number of below par performances. Now, I don't know if it's below par performances. He's been wanting to leave, allegedly. He's got 2 years left on his deal. And if we're honest, there's a bag of problems to sort out before Leno. And the last thing we need, and when we don't have confidence for us to sign even one midfielder when we need two, sign a right back when we need one, sign a backup left back when we need one, you sign a centre half when we need one, much less adding another keeper, because as poor as Leno's been and overrated as I feel he is, even though I think he's still a decent keeper, he hasn't had a proper back five. Been part of a back five unit, had a proper back four ahead of him. I also believe that I also believe if we sign the players we need to sign, and we had the squad the way we wanted, I think you can move with Leno up until a point as your keeper. But as I've said in previous live streams, and you are now seeing it now, I've said it, if the team was in the way it needed to be, we wouldn't be looking at Leno. And I think one thing that Leno's benefited from, people, sorry, because I got to make sure we're doing the timestamps and we're staying on the ball with him, people. Sorry, when did we start this? Let's say about 35, keep it running. I don't think Leno's been good enough. And I just feel when you've got mediocre players and you're doubling down on them like we've been doing, this is the problem. Leno don't owe us nothing, I've been saying if we could, I would get another keeper. But Leno's proven me wrong in a number of aspects, and he's proven me right in many aspects. I don't think he's consistent enough. I think he's got too many errors in him. And at 29 years of age, these are things that have followed him from buying Leverkusen. So in the same way we knew Guendouzi had attitude problems, maybe Torreira, while he left South America as an 18-year-old to come to Europe, there could have been signs that we could have read that he's probably he needs a bit of love off the field, to put it nicely, because I think, signings go wrong, but there has to be something. Leno's been a better keeper than people give him credit for, but he's ultimately at best an error-prone guy. Can we learn from this really? And Leno owes us nothing. As I've said here, people, going back to these notes, people, that's the timestamps. Why did we put our faith in Leno for him to want to leave? And I say that not from a point of Leno owes us anything. Leno, you wanted Leno to be your undoubtedly first choice. We know what's happened with Martinez. Now, on top of needing to revamp the whole side, many will say, what happened? What was we doing with the Martinez sale? I don't know what that was there. And again, you doubled down. Oh, what's going on here? We're having a disaster there. You doubled down on Leno. You made it abundantly clear he's first choice, and then he's catting out in the same way you're trying to give Mustafi new deals and make him captain, and he's catting out. This is, Leno has been made to feel way too important, in my opinion, personally. Leno doesn't owe us nothing. He's allowed to say, I want to leave. I'd want to leave too. I have 2 years left, 29. Could I go elsewhere and try something? Why not? There's no Europe. Why not? Maybe the fan pressure. I don't know. You don't rely on one man unless you're like Thierry Henry or something. Why did we put all our faith in him? Sell another keeper you could have probably slotted in, not bring in a keeper that's probably levels with Martinez. And lo and behold, a year from then, we're now looking at a keeper where we must have known, just off the basis of whether Leno wanted to stay or not. We spoke about, or the club spoke about, the last 2 years of deals, Leno, we've been knowing Leno is entering the last 2 years of his deal. So what's going on? You either double down on my man or you make a decision. It feels like too many players are in wait and see mode things. It's too much of a holiday camp, and you've got egg on your face because you're going to need to sign a certified keeper, a competent pair of hands. I'd imagine Leno wasn't the only keeper he's looking at. So can we go back over those possible dossiers, scouting reports, and the rest of it? I don't know, people, but it's an L. Going back to this, people, look how smug he looks in that as well. And like I said, people, the way I don't know why this article is taking so long, but you can't. This is why I said when people talking about us improving defensively, I said that we have to calm it down because we have improved, but you're never going to get to a proper point with an error-prone keeper, with centre halves that do dodgy stuff, with inconsistent right backs or inconsistent people playing at right back, with an injury-prone left back. As much as I think when Tini's fit, he's certified. Apparently, the 29-year-old has been available for transfer by the North Londoners. The outlet claims that he's joined Bellerin on the Axe list, people. Apparently, Bellerin fancies a fresh start. In addition to that, Guendouzi, Torreira, Kolasinac, Maitland-Niles will all look to be sold. Interestingly, that doesn't say Joe Willock. So I think Joe Willock would have to push to exit the club, and it's down to Joe Willock if he believes he can play week in, week out. So that's that in relation to them, people. I'm going to close this scum website. It's absolutely terrible, and it's not helping me do my job of speaking to you guys. So let's leave that one there, people. What else are you lot saying before we carry on? Moderators, thank you very much for cleaning up stuff, Don't worry, just ignore it, man. Leno is appreciated at the club, but my appreciation doesn't mean you're just giving you praise for no reason. If you've played poor, you've played poor. If you've played good, you've played good, man. Slap the like button, people. 150 of you are not doing your job. Where are we at in terms of the likes, people? Are we even at 200? We're barely at 200, people. There's 365 of you locked in. Keep it going, man. That was an Arteta masterclass. Sell your keeper, and the other one wants to leave. The Don Arteta tells you everything, man. Tells you everything. What Sarr are you talking about? If you're talking about the Sarr I've just spoken about, then that's my opinion. You know, Sarr is a common name in football. So if you're speaking about the Sarr I just spoke about, literally just answered it. You know, like I always say, I always give the example, Sky Trez, it's a relationship. Bellerin and Arsenal, we're not going to flourish together. And, you know, Bellerin can leave with his head held high. He's vice captain this side. He's been captain. He's played here for, 10 or so years. He arrived as a boy, leaves as a man. He's won a couple of FA Cups. He's played a significant period for this club. He can leave with his head held high. I admire what he does off the field and how he's not afraid to be himself in the face of the obvious scrutiny. Do I think he's good enough? No. Do I think he's stagnated? Of course. Do I think Bellerin in his own way sums up what's wrong with this club? Yes. The fact that he's captaining or been vice captain tells you everything. I don't think he wants it enough. That being said, I do think he's scapegoated at times. And it wouldn't surprise me if Bellerin went to where I think he needs to go, Italy, and become a half-decent defender, you know? And we might sit here and go, wow, why did we sell him? And we need to sell him, you know. It's like a relationship. A man and a woman break up, they flourish elsewhere with other partners, but together it weren't there, man. I wouldn't say we don't need Leno at all. We need a keeper, you know. Leno, there's a lot of problems over than Leno, but if you're not going to bring someone in, there's an issue. We do need creativity in our midfield, though. At least we know what DG looks like. Still don't know where Kroenke can be found. Oh, you lot kill me with some of the stuff you lot come out with, man. Oh, it is where it is, man. DG, my guy, got my work shift flying for me, bro. Love on to 5 p.m. I appreciate that, my guy. Would I take Florenzi? No. Anyone that follows me on my live watch-alongs for Champions Leagues, I told you, look, this guy is bookie. This guy is fraudulent. He would kind of, in their own way, kind of cost them in the second leg. And lo and behold, they even said he shouldn't have played in the second leg based on the first leg, man. Do you think the protests will continue to the end of the season? Well, I think Arsenal fans will keep voicing their opinion. So 100%, man, 100%. What's wrong with Matt Ryan if Leno leaves? I think we already have a good fist-to-heart goalkeeper in Ryan. I can't lie to you. You know, shout out Matt Ryan. I think he's cool with this second choice thing. But I think I would like another keeper. I would like a keeper that, because, you know, I like Ryan, but there's got to be a reason he got rubbed out of Brighton. You know, I think he's cool with that backup role. I'd like a keeper that we can build with, someone doesn't necessarily have to be young, but someone that we can say is going to be here for a while, so that it ties into what we could have with Gabriel, with Tierney, with whoever's going to partner Tierney, assuming it's long-term Saliba, with obviously bringing in a right back and things like that. Jamie's killing me. Big up DG, the philosopher. I appreciate that, man. Zaha swap for Pepe, thoughts, DG? Nah, I'm cool with Pepe still. I like Zaha though, but then, man. Good number 2. These are the most relaxing streams. Not so relaxing watching Arsenal though. Facts, my guy, man. Facts. Bro, we're playing tomorrow. We'll see what happens, man. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really rate Ohana. If Ohana comes, I'll say I'm wrong and whatnot, and I'll support him, but I don't really rate him too tough. I think there's a bit of Leno in him as well. Like, I can't lie. I know keepers have moved on, but I'm a bit more modern. You know, I like my keepers to be excellent goalkeepers, and anything else is a bonus. I think Arsenal were signing guys that can play out from the back. If you can barely catch, there's a problem. Of course, I would take Donnarumma, but he is not signing for us, man. Who knows, man? To be fair, sir, you know, that's not always a way to go against him. You know, him not playing for Brighton isn't a reason why he couldn't be first choice. I just think Arsenal fans do this little thing where a man come in and they do their thing, and then fans start putting an overrated experience, like putting them in positions that they're not built for. It's a bit like Giroud. He was never going to be our 20-goal a season striker, but he is good in the squad. You know, Lafont has just gone permanently away from Fiorentina, so that one's a myth. I do like him, Leon. I can't say his name, but I do like that right back. So why not, man? Why not? Hopefully you reach at least 53k by the season. But I think we're 3 games away from the season ending, so we're not quite going to get there, but I'm trying to get there before the end of the year, man. We're almost approaching the halfway mark in the year, so I'm grinding every day I can, man. Big up Deluded, always talk sense. Appreciate that, my dude. Appreciate that. What do you think about signing Loftus-Cheek? I love him as a footballer. I love him as a player, but myth, absolute myth. His injury record, with the way we're looking after injuries, we signed a midfielder that's barely injured, you know, in Partey. So imagine man that are injury prone. You know, it scares me. It does scare me. But if it was just on ability, of course I would take him, man. You know. No, don't get it twisted, you know. You do need a keeper that's good with his feet. It's just balance. It just seems like the keepers Arsenal are getting, you're either good with your feet, meaty at a lot of other things, good with the other stuff, meaty with stuff. It's dead, man. So you could get more subs if you did more AFTV fan cams. They have to ask me for one, and to be fair to you, you know, take the stairs, man. I can't clout off other shows. I hear that, but you know, there's got to be opportunity provided, my guy, man. You know, just gonna beg. But nonetheless, where are we at in terms of likes? 230. There's 230 likes. There's 384 of you locked in. Some of you are not there, man. I didn't say Leno's horrendous with his feet. I do think he's a bit overrated with them. I didn't say he's horrendous. That's a strength of Leno's, his ability to play with his feet. As I said, I never said that, but fair play. I wouldn't, you know, if you know, Eze's done all right at Palace, but I don't think he's quite done enough to be banging on the England shouts, or at least in Southgate's, because we got to remember Southgate, rightly or wrongly, appears to be a very tough man to please. You know, he tried tooth and nail not to include Grealish. Didn't really want to use Jude Bellingham. You know, remember, he didn't really even want to call up Jadon Sancho. Now they're all in the team because you can't deny it, man. Love Leno, but we kept the wrong keeper. I'm not too sure on that. I just feel my problem with Arsenal is that we've doubled down on Leno unnecessarily. And I don't think Martinez leaves if that doesn't happen. If Arteta says, you lot, best man fights for the job. Martinez has said that he's always on this 10% luck, 50% skill thing. How I've been fighting for this position at Arsenal for time. Now you're finally told by a manager the best man wins. Aren't you going to fight? So for me, he's been told abundantly clear, no matter what you do, bro, you're the second choice keeper. Leno's the first. And this is the problem. This is the issue. And I think Martinez is a good keeper, but I just think there's a lot of glamour with Martinez. You know, I think we need to move on past Martinez and just criticize Arsenal's decision to double down on Leno. And it's seeming like we're struggling to sign keepers. You know, we've made a safe option. And as much as I like Matt Ryan, it's a safe option. 1 foot out the door at Brighton. Someone said he fell out with Potter. It's the same way with Cedric. 1 foot out the door at Southampton. Partey's a bit different. Release clause. Do you get it? You never get the vibe Arsenal truly want footballers. It's like there's always something there. So we'll have to see, man. Would you take Szczesny back? He's not coming back. So that one there is left at that one there, really. So yeah, man, that one there's that, man. The problem is we double down on players, and Leno don't owe us nothing. You know, anyone that feels angry about, yeah, we put all our faith in Leno, he wants to leave. That's our fault. That's absolutely our fault. You know, that is absolutely our fault because we shouldn't have done that. And maybe Leno, if Martinez stays or a better keeper comes in, he's thinking, boy, my spot is gone. This, that, and the other. I don't know. I really don't know, people. You know, let me make another timestamp, people, because there's some other transfer news that I didn't plan on speaking about. We can go over it vaguely. Let's call it extended transfer news. It's got a bit of variety in that one there. So yeah, people, extended transfer news. What else have we got? We spoke about Mr. Sam Bell. Apparently, Arsenal are ready to compete with Spurs to sign Yochin Anderson. You know, again, I don't know if Leon will take him back or not, but he's had a good season at Fulham. He's relatively decent with the ball at his feet. We wanted him before he went to Lyon. He's got leadership qualities. I wouldn't mind him in the squad, but personally, I would like us to sign a centre half that is better than what we have, whether that's a big money signing, which it won't be, or scouts do your job. personally, that's just how I feel. Going back, you know, like I mentioned earlier, Torreira to Sevilla is the latest one now. He's, you know, his dad 1 minute it's back to South America, and then we're going to France or Italy. I don't know where they're at, people. And again, I have great sympathy for Torreira's mum dying and the problems they're going with, but it just feels like throughout the whole year, only time you've heard about Torreira is through his father chatting or Torreira just whining at times. It's not been. I'm yet to see a article saying, you know, he's tore it up at Atletico, he's bossed this game, how are Arsenal keeping on to him? Because he's someone we should be saying, yo, we could sell him for 30 odd million and do this and that, or bring him back into the team. We was all bewildered as to why he left, you know, and now we'll probably know exactly what it is, people. Sevilla are the latest club to be interested. Now, the same luxuries for him succeeding in Atletico were the same things I said for him. I mean, going to Atletico and being a success are the same things that could be said for Sevilla. You know, he speaks the language. You know, there's probably a couple South American players there, knows the league at this point in time, wants to leave, and it could be better living there. But I don't know. Apparently, Arsenal rate him at 13 million. Apparently, Inter Milan are interested in him. So that's a move back to Italy at a fantastic club with playing under Conte and probably the Champions League. Torreira is probably the player I want out of the club the most, just because of the noise. I don't want to hear Lucas Torreira's name. He's a player I love. But I'm sick of him now. I'm sick of hearing your name. I just think you're a sissy. I can't lie. Like I said, for those of you who think I'm being insensitive and can't listen, away from what's happened in his personal life throughout the whole year, it's these headlines and it's just whining. At some point, you need to look at the conditions allegedly were perfect. You know, why did Emre rub you out? Why couldn't you get a sniffing under Arteta, whether we rate him or not? Why could you not play for Simeone? The quicker this guy goes, the better, in my opinion. Obviously, tomorrow's watch along business. You know, shameless plug while we're here. Please make sure you're taking that one in there, people. What is this now? Ironically, people, you know, shout out to Sam Dean. Apparently, Atletico are re-registering their interest in Lacazette. And apparently they're not going to try and buy Dembele permanently for their club because he struggled. I think he's got 1-2 goals. He struggled, people. He is going to cost 25 million. I don't know if it's an obligation to buy or they could send him back, people. Well, it's an option to buy, as you can see here. And to put it nicely, he's had a difficult couple months. He's a player we've been linked with before. 25 million for Dembele. He might go somewhere else and succeed. But for me, I'd rather us just plug the areas or use that money to plug the areas we need to, then sort out the future of Lacazette. Then if you want to sign Dembele, go for it. Personally, there's a couple options I would like to excuse and go for other ones. I like Dembele, but I'm not really convinced on if it would work at Arsenal. But that's that, people. Yeah, man, that's that. That's just circling back more on that. Saliba as well, folks. If we look at William Saliba again, I think people need to calm down with Saliba because they always fans like to do this, people. Where is it? Let's just make a new one because that's quite jarring. Saliba to return. What I mean by that is if you've been watching him while he was on loan at Saint Etienne and when he's been at Nice, there's been times he's shown his leadership qualities. There's been time he's been amazing, but at the same time, he's shown his age. How many times have you watched Nice and Todibo, Saliba? They're all getting caught flat-footed. That's not going to be eradicated from his game. All we're going to hope for with Saliba is that he's played more games. He's getting more confidence as a result of that. He's getting a bit more street smart and ultimately a bit more confident to have success here. He will have success at Arsenal, like with Gabriel. But there's going to be 8 times where either player is going to need to be pulled out of the lineup. You know, they're young players. That means when they're going through great spells, it's going to be very good. When it's going through bad spells, it's going to be very bad. And Gabriel and Saliba, they're very naive. Who's going to be the leader? Who's going to marshal that? That's why I think we need a centre-half that has the ability to play with both of them or in a back three with both of them while we're training them. I'm happy to hear Saliba's returning. That's what it should be. You know, he's had 2 extended years in France. One was cut off at Saint Etienne because of multiple reasons, in short, COVID. He's doing what he needs to do at Nice, showing his leadership quality, showing his consistency. Also done some calamitous things, you know, made some rash tackles, conceded a pen, switched off. There's many things to coach out of his game. And a bit like Gabriel, I want to see Arteta coach these things out because, again, It's all good talking about signing Camavinga, which isn't happening, signing Saliba, signing Gabriel, signing a youngish sort of right back with potential, having Saka, having Martinelli. I need to know how you're going to get them to the next level. How are you going to take, Saliba needs to do it himself, but how are you going to take Saliba and make him anything close to that France international, that next Varane, all these things he's linked with? Martinelli, how are you going to make him a striker? Saka, there's going to come a time. You know, we're going to say what's going on there, people. Potential is potential, but Arsenal don't really harness it. And there needs to be scrutiny. So if we look at Mark, he said he understands as things stands, William Saliba will be part of Arsenal's setup during pre-season and start of the 2021 campaign. Now, he probably will start as third choice and have to ease his way in and things. Plans are to involve the defender in all first-team affairs when he returns from Nice. Apparently, there's other people that say Mavropanos is going to initially return to pre-season, get a chance under Arteta, and then he might be moved back on. Apparently, Mislintat wants him either on a permanent or back on loan. So we'll see what happens in that case, people. But, you know, we're all confident, happy to hear that in the case of William Saliba, because there's potential in the lad. You know, it's just about harnessing it at this point in time. Like I said, you know, it's a bit like Reece Nelson. Everyone's like, play Reece Nelson, play Reece Nelson, play Reece Nelson. The minute he comes back from Hoffenheim and he's not the player that you looked at with 30-second clips, because I know this and I'm passionate about it because I'm watching, I'm busting my ass watching every 90-minute game of the man at Hoffenheim, which is why I thought Newcastle were bugging out when they bought Joe Linton for that money. You know, there's games where he didn't score, he played better. Games he scored and played quiet. Lo and behold, the man signs, it comes to Arsenal and it's been a bit slow. You know, and I don't watch these players on loan to say I told you so. I just want to know Saliba's true level. Man, I don't want to be screaming this, that, and the third, and then he's not levels. I think he will initially arrive as 15th, man said 15th, as third choice, get his little minutes here and there, and then have to earn it beyond that. So happy to see him returning, man. Happy to see him returning. I've just offered my thoughts on Mavropanos, and you can check out my loan reports for more extended thoughts on that one, my guy, man. I think they're both better than Mavropanos. I can't lie to you. And I think what goes against Mavropanos is that they're both young players as well. They're all at the similar stage in their careers and their development. And you look at it, yes, we spent money on Mavropanos, but we spent significant outlays by Arsenal. We've spent 30 odd, 20 odd, 30 odd on Saliba and a similar fee on Gabriel. You're going to have to justify that. You know, I think, I can't lie to you, Mavropanos, I think he deserves pre-season, but I don't think he's quite the levels to thrive at Arsenal. People can prove you wrong. But, you know, I think he's had a good loan. He's been confident. He's been consistent. You know, he's looked good in the back three. I don't think he's got enough about him on the ball in comparison to the centre-halves at the club, in Arteta's mind. Me looking at Arteta's mind, I think in the big games it's shown that his concentration levels, it's not going to happen. You know, he could probably sit on the bench and things like that. But like I said, we've got two other young centre-halves. I would like to see Mavropanos get a chance because I love his bravery. And I think, you know, he could be all right. But I just think he's going to be one of them. We're going to loan out. We're going to make a little profit. But, you know, people can be proved wrong in that regards, man. There's always things. And I like Mavropanos. I just feel, well, I've just said what I feel really, in it, people, really and truly. So that's what I feel in relation to that. So we can cut that. We can cut that. Now, people, I'm sure a lot of you have been seeing Arsenal apparently are looking at scouts or looking for scouts or revamping the scouting network and whatnot. And the information came out yesterday. But I would rather, you know, I wasn't online, so I have to see it now, people. So as you lot can see here, Arsenal moved to strengthen scouting network in latest recruitment reshuffle. Club appoint headhunting company to fill new scouting roles. So again, hopefully if we're bringing in headhunters, they're going to bring in specifically what we need. Personally, I don't know what these guys are on. Apparently they specialize in filling senior roles within sport and entertainment, so they're meant to be the middlemen. But you know, I'm not too sure that fills me with any joy. But apparently Arsenal have appointed a headhunting company to recruit new scouts in a number of key positions 9 months after gutting their previous recruitment structure in favor of a more streamlined approach. So again, until we get these structures in place, we're not really going to see the fruits of our labor in terms of scouting and things. But apparently the Guardian understands pardon me, Arsenal have asked Nolan partners who specialize in fulfilling senior roles within sport and entertainment to help them find scouts in a number of areas where their presence has been light since last August. They are seeking 2 scouts in Germany, one of whom will be focused on the youth recruitment. And to be fair, we brought in Omar Rekik. We brought, we could do a lot of that, as well as a new personnel to serve the UK, France, and Spain. Discussions with some candidates are thought to be underway. Now, obviously, I'm big on the academy, our UK historic academy, and obviously people we grow. We all want them to reach first team. But if we're talking about being self-financing, we need to get top dollar. Now, we haven't really been bringing in players, especially when you look at the talent in France. But for me, this is good enough. But we need people who can sell, because we haven't, for whatever reason, we haven't been proactive with contracts. So we haven't got good enough money. Benassia's at AC Milan. We never got top money. Gnabry, Marlon. They're bare names, we haven't seen top money. If we're meant to be self-sustaining, yeah, not everyone can make it at first team, but can we do what we need to do? And I thought Bellerin was going to go down that same recruitment thingy. We got rid of Francis Caiggio, rightly or wrongly, people. And Edu said, I don't want individual people working in one area or for one country. I want a group working together, less people with more responsibilities. Now, it's vital that these people actually know what they're doing, because like you can see with probably Edu and the man below him in Arteta, when you're left to your own devices with a lot of responsibility and nobody really critiquing you, as well as the owner and the ultimate ethos coming down from the owner, it leads to complacency. Complacency leads to mediocrity. Mediocrity leads to declining, which leads to failure, which leads to being shameful. Arsenal have sought to prioritize a more analytical led process overseen by Jason Ato, who has scouted for the club since 2014 and now coordinates player recruitment with the use of their in-house facility, StatDNA. Got no problem with StatDNA, just the people using it, people. But the vacancies they have advertised suggest at least some acceptance that the greater coverage is required regionally in the industry that still to a large extent relies on contacts and building and relationships being built in person. So we could have been out there building relationships. Yeah, people, it's gone on to talk about the use of the people we're using. Let's just hope we can bring in the right people. Again, another season where there could be lots of reshuffling and things, and we'll have to see what actually happens in that regards, people. We really will. On that, though, let's move away from that. And I know Arteta's had his press conference. I'm keen to hear what he said about potential signings for next season and all those sort of things. I heard it's quite an interesting one. Let's put that in caps because everything else is in caps. Arsenal. Looking for so yeah, that's that. I'm gonna get into that one in a sec, people. MIKEL Arteta press conference. We'll get into that in a hot second, folks. But what are you lot saying? Thoughts on Bertrand. Check out Charles Watts' latest tweet. Well, we wanted him before privately. He's been around the block. If he can be a competent backup left back, why not? That's my only opinion on him, really. I'll leave that one to you. I don't think so, really, and that's saying much. I'll see you guys soon. Some interesting comments, man. Almost at 300 likes. Get that one going. No, I wouldn't take the Bradcar personally. Arsenal's new scouting network watching DG live streams on YouTube. I don't think so. I'd love it, but why not, man? Why not? I admire Arteta's outlook on stats and numbers, but I don't think he respects the eye test enough. Could use Martinelli as a good example. I just feel not that he lacks humility, but he lacks the, when someone can't tell you you're wrong. I think it's like that, or if someone can't see something else from a next person's perspective until it crosses their mind and things like that, and they have to be the one to have thought of it, or it's not looking, man. I hope you're good as well. I hope you're doing well and safe. Hope you're doing well. A man said, have you watched Camavinga? His highlights are sick, but I've never watched the full 90. You ain't been listening in this last live stream. I big up the Irish Gooners. Luke, appreciate you locked in, and shout out to all the other Irish. We're going to need the luck of you guys if we're going to sign half these players, people, really and truly. You know, Arteta is too interested in possession football. He doesn't have a plan B. Daniel, I hear that part. The way we play possession football, I don't think we do, because we don't pass to disrupt the opponent's shape. We don't pass or hold on to the ball as a way of defending. We're not cultured on the ball. You look at our midfield, you know, it is what it is, man. I get you can always look at all markets, but who's going to be free agents, man? Who's going to be free agents? You know, if you lot rise up some people that are going to be free agents, Carl, why not, man? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Who actually wouldn't? Shout out my people, them free in midfield podcast. Shout out to them, man. You said, yes, brother, deluded. I think prioritize a proper DM and have 2 centre-backs. Also, if Arteta were to go for Ruben, the manager of Sporting Lisbon. That's a shout. I wouldn't mind Gasperini, man. You don't need to be diplomatic, DG. The dictionary definition of what you described of, wouldn't say I've been diplomatic. Don't know what you're referring to, but it is what it is. Gym was elite, my guy. Gym was elite. I had the gym and I had a couple of meetings, which meant I couldn't drop my Deluded podcast in the morning. And I didn't have that much to speak about. So, yeah, please make sure you lot check out the Deluded podcast on Spotify. It'll be out tomorrow and be out on Friday, man. I don't think Arteta lacks humility. I think he lacks humility. You know, I do think he's a humble person. I just think from a footballing sense, yeah, he just doesn't. Well, there's you need the arrogance, but you need a humility. I either think he's too humble, he's too arrogant. So yeah, you might be onto something there, man. Am I rich? Am I financially free? Do I have the empire I want? Do I have 5K, 350K subscribers? I think you can answer that question. So no, I don't ever stop working or trying, man. But anyways, people, moving on. Let's actually get into Mikel Arteta's press conference, people. Shout out to everyone that's locked in and been here for this hour or so. Let's get into what he said, because no doubt it's going to be an interesting one. It's how we evolve. There's great potential. Potential is just potential. There is great potential in the club. You know, if we had an owner who cared, if we fixed a couple of things, it's not going to turn over at the drop of a hat like that, but we could put the wheels in motion. Like I said, Rome isn't built in a day, but we should be seeing some scaffolding, certain things being delivered. Don't see none of that. Arsenal are one of the greatest clubs at showing you just a couple of things to be excited about and not be, because again, we're not going to we're not going to identify when to renew contracts, when to move players on and bring in new players, get the best out of some of these players that we need to, harness the potential and develop these players of tomorrow. All of these things are great, but when you look at the club, you know, we're hiding behind our previous name. It's crazy, man. Big up DG, inspire me to keep grinding. Bro, I appreciate that, but you inspired yourself. When you want something bad enough, you'll be your own motivator, not your family, not your girlfriend, not in some of you lot's cases, boyfriends, not your friends. You know, something, you know, be something in you, whether it's you guys' motivation or fear of failure, fear of people saying whatever, fear of being average. You need something that drives you. And when you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. And this is something I would wish the Arsenal players would take heed. They don't want to be top 4, win Europa League bad enough, or you wouldn't get into situations where you're relying over too much on what happens, you know, really and truly. But moving away, Arteta is still adamant that progress has been made, but let's see what he said. We have made progress in many areas, I would say performance included, and that is supported by many factors that we have looked at. Results-wise, to be where we want to be, it has improved. No, it hasn't, Arteta. No, it hasn't. Let's call a spade a spade. Maybe we're a bit confident. Maybe we can pass the ball a bit better than since you came in. Maybe there is a bit more grit and determination. But again, you know, we're going based off below mediocre examples. You know, if your team's, if you play for a Sunday league team, you're conceding 50 goals, you know, a season, and the next season you concede 40. Yeah, of course it's progress, but it's dead. You know, it's not making sense really and truly. You know, and results wise, that is all that matters. Obviously, there's times where you can be playing well as a club, but the underlying statistics or whatever shows you there's dark days to come. Sometimes we've seen it, not necessarily Arsenal, but there's been football clubs, I'd say Fulham to a degree. Now, there's probably reasons they're not winning, but there's been times they're playing well, they're doing the right things, and the results aren't coming. Sometimes them things them things change at a drop of a hat. But results-wise, all that matters. We know it's a results business. Arguably, all that matters is results this season because we need Europa League or we need Europe. So the improvements are overstated. The improvements are overrated. So it's not making sense. It's not making sense. Where are these many factors? Let's stop being vague and be specific. Is it mentality? Can never be mentality because when crunch time is on, we've bottled it. Is it the playing squad? Could never be the playing squad. It's been the young players. Much like last year with Saka. The only difference is Saka was on his J's. Now he's got a Smith Rowe brother with him. It's not making any sense to me, people. It's looking like what's there. Obviously, let's be real. Arteta can't just... Sometimes I think being truthful is the best policy, but he can't come out there and say we've made no progress because me and then you lot are going to say, okay, well, go on for this thing. This was because of you then. And that's probably going to kill his players' confidence even more, especially going into this Chelsea game. That's what I'll say, to not defend him, but to be devil's advocate. We all know that he's worse. Performance included how? Because, we could say, we've been in games and we've thrown it away last 10 minutes or, we've conceded in the first 10, 20 or there's been a red card and we've reacted. But that doesn't matter. Football is a 90-minute game and we don't understand that. We do not understand that. This is just naivety. This is, I would expect Arsenal's under 13s manager to speak like this. Even that, I wouldn't want really, It's a bit of arrogance. We've already had an incredible amount of changes at the club over the past year or so, more than ever. Facts, but you knew this. You knew when you walked in, you yourself said the culture of the club has to change. So you must have known, while it's a factor and can harm things, but we knew there was going to be a big turnover, should be a big turnover, potentially of players and people above you. Yes, it makes your job harder, but these are not reasons for the lack of what we're seeing on the lack of or what we want to see on the field. We are looking to improve and be much closer than where we are at the moment, bro. We're in May. You were saying this at the start of the season. So you and the players just need to slap yourselves because it's not levels. In order to do that, there are certain things that we have to improve. Now it is how we evolve. There are a lot of things that had to be done and they have to be done. A lot of changes to make and a lot of changes have been made. We'll see in the summer because are you going to, we've finally got Willian's goal. You'd imagine now Willian has to do the right thing and leave, or you've got to push him out because there's no wait till next season and all of that. Hopefully, if he stays, he turns up the heat because it will make it good for Arsenal. But you spoke about being ruthless. You've got to be ruthless. Now is the time to evolve. To evolve, you have to take things so that when they are a little more settled and established, take them to the next level. But people, I don't even know what he's saying there. That's just madness to me. So I'm going to move on. There's great potential with the young players. Facts. They've shown that this season. You've over-relied on them, even with Smith Rowe, to the point he's cramping, to the point where Saka looks like he's struggling mentally the last 3 games before the last game. You can't pull him out. They're the two only... Why is it Smith Rowe and Saka move? They're the only two of the only footballers in this team who move, who actually look at the goal they were involved in. They move. Why is that? You might be working on that, but ain't that what Arsenal's DNA is supposed to be about? Pass and move. That's very much the historical Arsenal, So how much is that down to the Halen coaches and people that have worked with them at London Coley? How much is that down to you? Because you can't claim Saka because that's Emre's business. I don't even think you can claim Smith Rowe because he was in and about. They have the level to do it. They have the hunger to do it. And they have the right senior players around them to help them as well. They don't have the right senior players because these players hide behind these lot. These players leave lip service. You've got players who do a lot of talking. They don't have the right players. When you got a man like Tierney, from what I hear from some of these players themselves, when I've done interviews with them, when I hear what's coming out, David Luiz is good for them. I hear that. I agree with them too. But the rest, because for me, I'm tired of hearing Lacazette as well. I'm tired of hearing Lacazette is great for the young players. Luiz is great for the young players. This guy is good for the young players. You should all be good for the young players. You should all be good for the young players. You should all be a living, breathing example. They should all be able to talk to you. They should all be able to look at you and get what football's about. Everyone should be about that. Now, obviously, there's some more than others, and I get it, but everybody should reflect Arsenal Football Club. Everybody should reflect what these young players need. They should look at you lot and say, that's what I need to do to get to where I want to get to. Instead, these young players are signing themselves. Who's Bellerin looking at? He's looking at Saka and Smith Rowe, He even said that in his thing. He's like, Saka and Smith Rowe showing it can be done. They're not looking at you, man. Say what you want about Guendouzi, but even when he was here, man are saying he's showing fight and that. You know, more time. It's the fresh players that are here. Tierney's still young to a degree. He's been here 2 sets. Gabriel been here 2 sets. So if you're talking senior away from age, then they're my guys, man. They're my guys. Great comment here from Red Cloud Reviews. I feel like Arteta talks in circles most of the time, and his eloquence makes people think he's intelligent, but most of the time he's deflecting and talking hella wass. I do think he's an intelligent man, but I agree with you. It's just bare jargon. It's bare talking. It's like it's hella people. You know, it's what hella people do in the world of business. They use these massive words. You think they're mad knowledgeable. You type in these words on Google, and it's like you're like, oh, it only means that. And I think when you do a lot of this, I think this is just like the tactics one and what fans see with their eyes, clouded stuff. You know, me and you could read this, but both of us are saying 2 different things or taking 2 different things away. When there's an air of uncertainty, that leaves for anything, and there's been too much airs of uncertainty at this football club, and another reason as to why we're at where we're at, you know. And he's went on to say it's about how we click and how consistent we are, because we've shown that on our day we can compete and beat top teams, but through 38 games we haven't done it, bro. When is our days? Like I always say, we win battles, we don't win wars. We're going to be 9th, 10th and screaming, oh, we beat United away from home. Oh, we beat Chelsea. Oh, we beat Spurs. We beat Liverpool in the cup. We done this. That's dead, you know. On our day, them things there don't happen too often. It shouldn't be your day. You know, you're meant to be one of the top dogs in the Premier League. Teams are fighting to not make it your day. I don't buy that. I hate talking about on our day what Arsenal turns up. 38 bloody Premier League games. How much months is that? How much weeks is that? So to sit here and not have a DNA, a clear way of playing, it sounds like excuses. You know, the only thing I agree with you so far is what you said about the young players. Through the Europa League final, we have done it to the point that we are so close to getting to the final, but in 38, you haven't. Because you said we learned from Olympiacos, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I have been here saying we ain't. You know, I was vexed about the Benfica game. We turned it around. Vexed about Olympiacos. Vexed about Slavia Prague. Can I be under any illusion that we've played Villarreal and we've lost, but the same things are there? Not doing what you need to do in the first leg. Reactive in the second leg. It's dead. It's not making sense. So we weren't close. You know, we weren't close. You know, because when we went out, you know, it was perfect in the group. When we started to play teams with half a decent bit about them, yes, we went through and got to a stage before the final, but these teams were presenting issues, and the issues that ultimately were our demise, the warning signs were there. You know, the warning signs were there. You know, it's that we're standing outside when the weather looks shaky, the clouds are coming, you know, it's getting cold, and you know, and we're still holding up, and then we're crying when it's raining, and we haven't brought an umbrella, there is no shelter, we ain't brought a jacket, and then you're just wassing it now, you know. And this, and undoubtedly, this has to, you know, if you speak like this to the fans, maybe this is a tactic, confuse, you know, that's a war tactic, confuse the enemy, you know. I know you want the fans to sing from the same hymn sheet, but this is confusion, you know. And again, if your tactics are like this, you know, if you speak like this and leave airs for uncertainty, if you speak like this to the fans or your communications this, then how can I, as poor as the players are, you might be telling 2 centre-halves, the centre-halves that are playing on the weekend, for example, let's just say Holden and Gabriel, you're telling them something, but he's interpreting it one way, my man's interpreting another way, dead, you know, it's dead. 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 In terms of what we can expect in the transfer market this summer, no, I would like no talking, just delivering, because that's where Arsenal do it. You know, we're linked with a Bissouma, our Camavinga, bare different players. You know, Arteta to be given funds, Arsenal to invest significantly. You know, we've been down here, war chest, Mbappe, and then summer comes and you're holding your hands out, you know, looking for party. Everyone else is doing their business, you know, and we've got Euros where assuming you're getting players that can complicate things. You know, you've got Olympics, you've got all little things. This is going to be a mad year. This is why the bulk of the business needs to be done. You've known for a while we're not getting Europe. How are we reacting to that? You know, you should have been learning from last year because we almost missed out on Europe. We should have had a plan provided we did, you know, but yet again, we sit on our hands. And I can't be surprised, but here we go anyways. He said there are so many things to do because we already have a lot of players on loan and a lot of players with contracts that we still need to sort out. Very reactive, and it's going to be a big summer. And you look at Edu, you know, like he said, less people, more responsibility. How much can we get done? And, you know, we've got Richard Garlick, who's meant to be doing that, involved. And as mad as it is, I do agree. As something I've been saying to you guys, people, please make sure you're hitting the like button. That's something I've been saying to you guys, people, in the sense of you can't really bring in players if you can't get rid of them, because we need squad spaces to be shut, because we're not in Europe, or we're not going to be in Europe, and we need funds. This is why I said earlier, or in the last live stream, we need to make decisions and what I mean by that is, sorry, I had a brain fart there. What I mean by that is we need to make decisions and stand by them, because let's take Joe Willock. There is no right answer. There is no wrong answer at this moment in time. Hindsight will provide that. This is why I said I'm on the fence. I'm open to, my first thing is bringing Joe back, using him in the squad. But what if he doesn't want to be a squad? He wants to be a more important player. So this is why I'm saying he can go out on loan again. He can come back, or he could be sold. None of them might be the right or wrong answers, but I'm tired of what I've seen. Maitland now is probably a better example. It looks like my man is leaving. He plays in the Community Shield, bosses it, and he stays. Make decisions and make decisions early. Granted, should I say we should have made decisions? I can't imagine not too, the only one on loan that could change an opinion surely is Joe Willock. Nobody else has really played that 30. Everyone's decision should be made in relation to what we're doing. The players that are being sold, get them out early and try and reinvest, because, it's easy to scream sell, but half of these players, it's proven tricky to sell them anyways, and it's a COVID market, so there is less money. And it's not only the players out on loan, it's these players within the club. Xhaka 2 years left, Leno 2 years left, Bellerin wants to leave, couple of players that probably shouldn't be here. Are you going to give David Luiz a new deal? Are you going to move Willian on? Which again, to be fair, moving Willian on will probably take after summer, really. He said it will depend on what happens with a lot of those players and what we are able to recruit to improve the team. That is going to determine where we are. We've been sitting down the whole year to make plans. We've been in constant communication, and things will change. Some things will stick to the plan that Rio already had, and some other things will come out. But we sit down very, very regularly to talk about those things. And I expect that with us not being in Europe and the financial fallout, there is things. And obviously players saying no, things happen, the market changes, but the bulk of that business should have been done already. Who you're bringing in, I can't bring in plan A, we're going for plan B. There should be a list. When we're talking about centre halves, it shouldn't be 3 names. It shouldn't be 3 names for a cam. We're not, unless you're Barcelona, Real Madrid, and them teams there, you're 9 times out of 10 not going to get that first choice. So communication should be done. But this is a man who told me we've learned our lessons from Olympiacos last year. I haven't seen that. You've been sitting down the whole year to make plans. So you, Edu, and these Kroenkes, bro, make sure you get it right, innit? That's all I'm going to say on that. Make sure you get it right, innit? Make sure you get it right. That's all I want to hear, people. If you don't get it right, it's going to be a problem. Regarding transfers, obviously he's spoken about Chelsea as well, so we might as well see what else he has said. People, please make sure you're hitting those like buttons. So that's that. That's that. Let's see what else he has said as well, people, because he's spoken about Chelsea. It's only right. There's Chelsea tomorrow. It's Chelsea tomorrow. Let me pattern all of this. Sorry, people. So yeah, let's see what's been. Make sure you're hitting that like button, people. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. Where is it? Ticket season ticket renewals. You see, that's another thing. Season ticket time. That's why all this transfer business is coming out. It's mad, innit? It's mad. What the hell is there to provide analysis? Absolute joke, man. Let's see what he said about Chelsea. They've been the best in the last few months. Facts, really. They've been amazing. We'd swap places with them in a heartbeat, apart from wearing blues. The Bloods versus Crips business. Probably they've been the best team in the league in the last few months. What Thomas Tuchel has been able to do since he arrived has been exceptional. Wouldn't you like to be able to say that about yourself? He put the team in 2 finals by not complicating things. He had a plan for Real Madrid. He stuck to his plan. He had a role for his players. They seized their destiny. Of course, there were times it could have went elsewhere, but it shows you what you can do. Now, Chelsea and Arsenal is different on many scales, and the facilities are set up for Thomas Tuchel to succeed far more there. You trade play. I think if Arteta trades places at Chelsea, I don't think he's doing what Tuchel's doing, but I think he's going to fare better. And likewise, Tuchel, we'd see a bit more clarity and all of these things in terms of DNA, but he would struggle because of the people in a good light for Chelsea and a bad light for us. But it shows what happened when there's pressure on the manager in Thomas Tuchel to succeed. Like the man has said himself, let's do this thing or get out of it. And like I just said in the example about how they've got to the finals, they've been amazing. They have been composed. They have been doing it on a regular basis. He said, I think it's the pride in the shirt that we wear that motivates us and that we want to win. Bit late for pride in the shirt. You've been, you couldn't even defeat racism the first time of asking. You went out of, despite all the bullish talk in the week from you and the players, you put in that performance in your last chance of achieving Europe. All season, there's been a lot of lip service, and when you've needed to stand up and be counted, it's been a problem. Winning is going to put us in a much better position in the table, which is going to make us which is going to make us the chance to finish where mathematically possible, but it doesn't depend on us at the moment. And again, reactive, you didn't want to seize your future. You should have been, you know, how great would it have been to be here and say where we control our destiny? You didn't, because you would have been thinking about what it's like to sit here in May saying these things in August and using that to drive you. How many of these players come the end of the season are going to be in the same spot they've always been in? It's that. It is what it is, people. And I don't think he said anything else on Chelsea, but let's see what's happened, people. On whether the win against West Brom has helped morale. And again, if you get morale beating relegation fodder, then like I say, when we win and lose, you lot are too volatile. But he said, obviously winning helps. And it was our duty to get the points that we needed at home and to try to finish the season as strong as possible after the disappointment that we had. I think I should say disappointments. Moving on, he said on Chelsea being the biggest test out there. Well, probably they've been the best team in the last few months. We've spoken about that already. In relation to team news, he said, we have to see today. There are some issues over the weekend. We are playing every 3 days and there's no time to train yet. Today's the first day, so we'll have to wait and see. Yes, there were some injuries. Yes. He said, well, the situation with Luiz is that he has not yet recovered. We'll see how he does in the next few days. The rest are in contention, but we will have to see today how they come. On what he wants from his team in the final three games, apologies. I think it's the pride in the shirt that we wear, that we want to win. Winning is going to put us in a much better position in the table, which is going to make us the chance to finish where mathematically is possible, but it doesn't depend on us at the moment, which I've circled already. On whether we'll see big improvements next season due to having more time to train and coach between matches. Excuses, man. Let's be real. Let's be real. Yes, you're playing 3 times a week, 3 games every 10 days. Let's be real. Let's be absolutely real. You still get, how many hours are you getting a week? What was you doing last season towards the end? Everyone else has had a lack of preseason, but you've still had something. We heard you give these boys homework. We heard you use drones at training. Why don't we have a DNA? It's not making mistake. It's not making sense. It's absolutely nonsense, man. Like it sounds like a cop-out. There are factors, but sometimes I believe in life you have to call a spade a spade. Yes, these are factors, but we are not in a position we want to be because of us. Or do we look a dramatically better team than last year? Not nitpicking and saying, yo, because we had 60 points, by then we've got 60 points now. My man is doing this, my man is doing that. There's plenty of statistics. We could probably find a lot of this, according to your agendas, we can find a lot of statistics that are negative. We can find a lot of ridiculously positive things. But let's just call a spade a spade. There are factors, but everybody else has had this. It's a cop-out. We're one of the only teams in the league, you look at it, behind what Arsenal has been and the romance around it. What the hell is this football team about? Forget the club, because we don't know what the club's about from top to bottom, off the field. What is the football team about? Them 11 players, what are them about? Are they what is the team about? What's the DNA? Do we look a dramatically better team than last year? No. The answer is no. And this is me being harsh, because you know me, I don't like to do that, but it's a joke, man. I think that having a preseason is going to be really helpful. So Arteta, I know who I'm coming to. When you have a preseason and we're playing once a week, make sure it happens the way I need it to happen. It's going to be really helpful because we haven't had any time to work together yet since we arrived. Yeah. Moving on. But after that, let's see where we finish next season and the amount of games that we have to play. But obviously, in terms of game preparation and time to coach, it's much better to be in that position rather than not having any time to prepare between games. Well, you need to learn to delegate. You've got a coaching staff. Learn to use them. If you're pressed for time, manage your time. And I'm a hypocrite because I struggle to manage my time, but I try my bloody best. Manage your time. You can't be everywhere and everything. Learn to micromanage. Learn to give people the scope to micromanage and let things happen, Again, provoke your coaching staff to be problem solvers, just like I want you to coach the players. You shouldn't have to give every piece of advice. A club cannot move like that. And if he expects a lot of players to leave, we've spoken about that, people. On whether he sits down at the end of the season to make plans, or if that's already been underway, he spoke about that. On just needing to implement this summer's plan to get Arsenal back to where it needs to be, yes. On whether he's upset with criticism from former players over the past week. I think everybody's entitled to their opinions, and when they have the chance to do that, they have to say what they feel. On if it affects him, again, it's nothing for me to say. I cannot control that. If you ask me what I'd have liked to have around the team and around everything that is related to the football club, is that we have unity and stability to work, which is true. But if that's not the case, it's nothing that I can do. On whether there being vocal criticism of him from fans, what's his response is for those who are doubting him after this season. The thing is, Arteta, we want you to get it right. You know, I'm never just gonna sit here and just just attack you without merit. Same way, I'm never gonna just praise you for such. I have no commitment to these players or you. I have commitment to the club, and it's only now everybody wants to have a conversation about Arteta, but it just feels like football fans, Arsenal fans, it's like you're seen as you're attacking this man, or you're not, or if it's not that, fans always just blame Arteta, or always just blame the Kroenkes, or always just blame the players. And I'm not saying this to absolve anyone of any criticism. My point being, there's many variables and there's many different pairs of feet to lay blames at. You know, there are some things that are just solely on Arteta, just on the Kroenkes, just on the staff, etc. But it is what it is. He said, the only thing I can prove is that by having a team that performs on the pitch and makes them proud, that's the only thing that I can do. The only thing I can be judged on is, do I create the necessary environment for a top elite team to compete at the higher level and get everyone in the condition to do their best? Nope. And after that, do I get the best out of the players that I have? Nope. The maximum, whatever that level is, you speak really good, Arteta, man. Maybe like Wenger in that aspect. Do I get the best out of that? Nope. This is how I judge myself. And at the end, bro, you haven't judged yourself by that via the whole season, because you've played players in wrong positions. You've seen that players are lacking on confidence and you're still playing them. You played certain players consistently, taking other players out. It has felt like there's one rule for one and 10 rules for other people, you know. This isn't making sense. It's sounding great in isolation, but it's a bit like this non-negotiables business. And I hope next season I can look back at this and say I was tweaking. But again, I'm a man of face value. If you tell me something, if I can hear your words and I see your actions and they're not correlating, then what can I say? I'm a man that can only deal with what's put in front of me, people, and call it as I see it, people. And a lot of them questions you're talking about, you haven't answered, you know. And there's nothing to do that, you know. None of that needs a preseason. You know, to see minimal building blocks. Like I said, at minimum, if we could see the DNA, if we were seeing what you was trying to do, then there wouldn't be no blame. You know, people could just say we need better players. Instead, it's a case of needing better players, you tweaking, owner this, that, and the third, man. You know, how I'm going to be judged is just with results and nothing else. I don't think you've fully taken heed of that. And I think because there's no pressure on you, or you don't do the false nine business in the first leg, or you don't play Willian as a false nine, or you don't do some of the things you've done throughout the course of the season. He said, what we've done good before in the past, in the process, is irrelevant. No, it's not irrelevant, Arteta, because you yesterday or whenever we sat on this live stream and we were you kept speaking about, last year you won the FA Cup. It is, so it sounds great. But he said it's only what you get from a result when you're on that pitch. On whether there's a lot of optimism that the team can be built around young players, absolutely, and we've spoken about that. He's spoken about fans going back into the Emirates, which I'm happy for the fans. On his plan for pre-season, we are trying to finalize everything with the COVID world. It's been a real challenge to get any games or pre-season tour sorted out. But hopefully in the next week that will be confirmed and we can announce that. But this is what we're trying to do. Obviously, the Euros is going to condition the return dates of players in relation to what they do in the tournament. There's not going to be too many players of Arsenal playing in the Euros. So there's still question marks. On Jack Wilshere's comment that the club needs more Arsenal people, facts. I think it's very important to have people who have been here and have experience here and are well respected here. We have a lot of them as well around the training ground, at the stadium. Yes, men, ambassadors, people that are not going to say the truth because they're getting paid, you know. Certain Ray Parlour, you know, he tried to deflect certain things onto Robbie because he's an advisor and he made himself look stupid because he's been on that platform, you know. When you're connected with the club, you're not going to say honestly what's felt, you know. So I don't know if Jack is referring more to the type of people or players or just people that recognize the identity of the club. I think nobody recognizes the identity of the club. The man that needs to, the owner, he doesn't. On whether we have to pay off some of the contracts in the summer, I don't know where the summer will take us. I think every situation will be different. And hopefully we are not in that position anymore. On whether players will have to leave before we can sign players, I don't think it's completely like that, but it will restrict and alter some plans in relation to what happens with one or two, which, to be fair, obviously it would, people. We've got to be fair in that regard. So I'll leave you lot to draw conclusions, man, because again, it's a lot of bafflement from me. But I'll leave you lot to that, man. You lot can stay with that, man. Like, I'm not even. When you're left baffled, I just accept it now, man, because I don't respect being lied to, and I just feel everybody at this club gives me a bag of lip service, and it's difficult to really comprehend people, which is jarring. But what are you lot saying, people? Get what you lot want to say in. Quick message from the sponsors. Big up everybody locked in. Check out the description or the message I've dropped in the live chat in relation to where you can purchase such. Also, people, make sure you're at my watch along tomorrow, Chelsea versus Arsenal. I know you don't want to be there, but even if you're not going to be there, do what you can for the like button, man. It raises DG's profile on YouTube. So yeah, where are we at in terms of likes? Also, 316 likes, 324. It's not bad. Make sure you're all hitting the like button. Let's move towards 400 people. Would you rather us buy a right back or a left back first? Right back, because that's the slight priority. I want a backup left back. I want a first choice right back. So I'd say that, man, personally. Big up Somali speakers. I appreciate you for tuning in. You always tune in, bro. I don't know, bro. Silence, because I don't know what's going on, man. Absolutely crazy, man. But we couldn't. So I can't take anything. I love Jeremy Doku. Still need to see a bit more development at Rennes, Was big on his case at Anderlecht. Need to see a tiny bit more him go up a level before I really sanction, or not that I sanction anything or scream that one. Good to see you locked in as well, James, man. Been the best over a decade now, and that's the ambition from the ownership. I would buy Hakim Ziyech. I would buy Ziyech, scraps of Chelsea, if it would allow us to spend more money in other areas. Well, I don't think they're going to sell him to us, but it is what it is. What's my ideal transfer window? Where we move half the players that need to be moved on, or I say half, all of them off, and we get a centre middle too. We get a right back. We get we get the areas I keep speaking about, man. That's it, really. There isn't too much more to say. I've already spoken about that, Reese. Bringing a backup, bring him in, but it doesn't, Bertrand doesn't scream a longevity option. It just screams easy to do, free transfer. It is what it is, Again, I don't begrudge his mentality. I think Bertrand's mentality is elite, but again, you're going to be in a situation where you're going to need to look at one in a number of years, and what length of contract are you going to provide him with? No, I wouldn't swap Pepe for Saint Maximin. If it was down to me between Bissouma and Camavinga, I'd go for Camavinga. Nothing to do with Bissouma because he's amazing. I'd pick both if I could. Tired, I think, is the word you're looking for, man. Would you sell Nelson? Well, to be cruel, to be kind, I'd like him to get opportunities, but he can't afford to go for a season like this. So probably. So yeah, man, it is what it is in that regards, man. Cute miners or bust, probably not even in for him. So that one there's a myth, people. I can't lie though, people. We've been here for an hour and 40 minutes. It's time to go eat a late lunch. So I'm gonna get out of here. Please make sure you hit the like button. I'll probably be back at 11:30 or so tomorrow if there is something to speak about. But if I'm not, then you already know where I'm next gonna be at, people. Set your reminders, 7:15, an hour before obviously Arsenal play Chelsea. I'll be live. So again, content galore. And I know there's a bag of videos you haven't watched and stuff like that. I've got a couple videos that need to be uploaded and things like that. So yeah, man, you lot stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll be back again, man. I'm out. Before I go though, you know me, shameless, obligations are obligations. So message from the sponsors. So yeah, you know what you need to do in regards to that. Like my people, them C Robin has said, big up the members, hit the like button before you leave. Gas for tomorrow's stream, of course. Love DG. Make sure you're all tuned in. K, I appreciate that, man. I'll catch you lot in a bit, man. On that note, though, I'm out.